So for verse and devotion today, this comes out of Galatians chapter 1. And Galatians was written by Paul. And Paul, if most of you don't know, Paul was what I would call pretty much the scum of the earth towards Christians before he became a Christian. And listening to what he has to say here, in my opinion, is pretty cool, pretty intense. So listen to this. It's Paul chapter 1. Galatians chapter 1, verses 11 through 17. Okay? I want you to know, brothers, that the gospel I preached is not something that man made up. I did not receive it from any man, nor was I taught it. Rather, I received it by revelation from Jesus Christ. If you remember, if you read the story about him, he literally was stopped in his tracks on the road to Damascus, where Jesus actually basically took him off the horse, threw him. Well, I mean, he didn't throw him on the ground, but he fell off, and he was blinded because he actually ran into Jesus, and Jesus pretty much showed him who was boss in the nicest way possible. Verse 13, for you have heard of my previous way of life in Judaism, how intensely I persecuted the church of God and tried to destroy it. I was advancing in Judaism beyond many Jews of my own age and was extremely zealous for the traditions of my fathers. But when God, who set me apart from birth and called me by his grace, was pleased to reveal his Son in me so that I might preach him among the Gentiles, I did not consult any man, nor did I go up to Jerusalem to see those who were apostles before I was. But I went immediately into Arabia and later returned to Damascus. Basically, Paul, without getting in, to all of it, his life was changed. It was completely transformed by the power of Jesus Christ. And he was one of the worst of the worst of the worst of sinners, if that's what you want to call it. However, because Jesus made himself extremely real to him, it changed his life. Absolutely a complete 180. And my prayer for you today is that if you don't think that there's any way possible that you could ever be loved by God, yes, you can. God created Paul, and he made him, and he loved him, regardless of all the bad stuff he had done. He did have to get his attention in a very rough way, but boy, isn't he glad that he did. Aren't we glad that he did? He wrote several of the New Testament books in the Bible, so again, even if you don't think you're good enough, or you're the worst person in the whole wide world, or the worst sinner in the whole wide world, you're not. Jesus can change your life, but you have to let him. Basically, all you have to do is acknowledge him. Say, okay, I do believe in you. I do trust you say who you are. Please forgive me of my sins and help me with all this. And if you don't know what else to do after that, contact me, get a hold of me, or find somebody that does know and go to a church, or contact somebody that attends a church and ask them, okay, what do I do next? And they'll help you, or I'll help you, and we'll get you started on the right way. It's not hard, but it does take a little bit of work as far as learning and reading the Bible and praying and stuff like that. It doesn't happen overnight. But Jesus does cleanse you up and make you his, just like that. And that's the best part.